Hey, I'm Allison from Learning at the Primary Pond. I'm a literacy specialist, and in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 simple things that you can do either at the end of the school year, over the summer, or even at the beginning of next school year to get ready to teach phonics effectively in the new school year. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and do that now, and then also hit the little bell so that you don't miss out on any of the brand new videos that I post on teaching literacy in K2. All right, so let's talk about the end of the school year. Things are winding down, but things are also a little hectic. Your kids are going bananas. You're trying to fit in the assessments, all the things, right? So if it's the end of the school year time for you, you might just want to kind of like, oh yeah, I'm going to slide into summer mode. And that's great. And I'm all about taking a break and totally putting down school mentally for a while. I think that that is super important just for our well-being as teachers and to help us get re-energized. But there's a balance, right? You might want to do some small things now, or, depending on when you're watching this, whenever the end of your school year is into summer, so that starting up again at the beginning of the year doesn't feel so overwhelming. So I do like to take some small steps toward the end of the school year or over the summer to get myself set up for success in the following year. It doesn't have to be major, just a few things. So I'm actually curious what you like to do, what you consider your must-dos are for maybe like wrapping up the year. Do you prep your classroom for the following year? Do you, get your first few weeks of instruction ready? Do you just kind of leave everything and then come back the following year? Let me know in the comments, because I feel like teachers really vary in terms of what they like to do at the end of the year to get ready for next year, ranging again from a ton of stuff to nothing at all, and anything is fine, right? Whatever works for you. But in this video, we're going to talk about what I recommend that you can do to get ready for phonics instruction and really set yourself up for success in the following school year. My first step is for you if you teach first grade or up, and that step is to check in with the teachers in the grade level below you to see how far they got in their phonics scope and sequence, meaning what specific skills they covered. So I recommend doing this if you can toward the end of whatever school year you're in. And the reason for that is because if you ask them maybe when the next school year rolls around, it might be a little bit harder for them to remember. So if you can, just pop into the room and say, hey, how far did you get? Of course, kids will, lose learning over the summer, unfortunately, or at least some kids will. However, if you know what was covered in the skills, then that will give you a kind of a sense of okay, what are some things that I might need to review at the beginning of the school year? And really, where am I going to pick up and go with these kids? Of course, you can do your own assessment, gauge their knowledge at the beginning of the year by all means, but having a sense will at least give you some place to start, right? Rather than not knowing if they, did they hardly master CVC words, they're in first grade, or they're going to be in first grade with you. Did they hardly master CVC words in kindergarten, or are they already reading digraphs and blends, or does it vary depending on the kiddo? So just having some kind of a sense will at least give you a starting point. My second suggestion is to plan how you're going to give yourself a little refresher on effective phonics instruction, or maybe even learn some new things over the summer. It doesn't have to be much. I actually have a 1-hour training, just 1 hour, that you can sign up for free to learn about effective phonics instruction and activities to implement that in your K2 classroom. So look for the link in the caption of this video. Again, it's just 1 hour, quick refresher, or to learn some new things and get some new ideas. There may be things that you think are true about phonics instruction, but actually aren't, because over time, the science and research, well, the science hasn't changed, right? We've just learned more about effective phonics instruction, and some of the things that maybe we thought we knew to be true aren't true at all. So professional learning for sure, whether you just want to do my free 1 hour training or you want to dive into something in more depth. If you do want to dive into something with phonics in more depth, I have a couple of recommendations for you. This is probably my favorite book, and I've read a lot of them, and I think that I've learned stuff from all of them, but probably my favorite book about phonics instruction is A Fresh Look at Phonics. This is by Wiley Blevins. So this would be definitely a good investment, or something that, you can borrow from a friend. Great book to read. And then another recommendation that I have, this book is Teaching Word Recognition, Effective Strategies for Students with Learning Difficulties. I tend to work with kids that are struggling with reading This is by Rolanda E. O'Connor, by the way. But even if you're not like a reading interventionist like I am, I still recommend it because it teaches you a lot about how to help kids break down words, phonics instruction as it relates to decoding, and it's great for helping your struggling learners as well. So this book I would say is like good for your foundation. And then this book would probably dig a little bit deeper if you get to that point. So these are both great books to check out. But also, if you don't want to dive into the books or you want something in addition to that, remember my free 1-hour training is in the caption for this video, so make sure to check that out. My third suggestion is to make sure that going into the next school year, you have an effective phonics program in place. If you don't have one, absolutely advocate for one, because there's so much involved in phonics instruction, right? There's like the figuring out what to say to teach kids the things. There's activities for you to use with the kids, practice activities, differentiated materials. Hopefully you have some time to differentiate, but there's just so much involved that you do not want to be doing this from scratch. Okay, so whether you use From Sounds to Spelling, which is my phonics program, I created it because I couldn't find a phonics program that followed all the research and best practices and was really easy for teachers to use with differentiated materials for kids. Whatever program you're using, you want to make sure it's an effective one, and you want to make sure that you have something. Sometimes you might have like a core reading program and it addresses phonics pretty minimally, or it's just kind of like spiraling random skills. Let me know in the comments if you've ever had a program like that. But you want something that really focuses on phonics. From Sounds to Spelling also focuses on phonological awareness, but I will link in the caption so that you can grab a free week and really see what it's like. But everything is laid out for you. Phonics skills, phonological awareness skills, high frequency words. I even included a little bit of vocabulary instruction and some optional handwriting in there. You get all of the lessons. Again, everything's written out for you. Professional development videos, all the materials for kids, the different activities, word lists, decodable text, you name it, it's in there. Because teaching phonics is complex. That's why there's all these books on it that I recommended. And understanding what to do is one thing, but you got to have something that makes it easy to actually carry this out in the classroom. Because if you don't, you're just gonna, spend hours and hours trying to make stuff or missing things with your kids. So having an effective phonics program is a must-have. If you are interested in From Sounds to Spelling, again, I'll include that free trial, but we can help you advocate for the program for your school. So don't hesitate to reach out, support@learningattheprimarypond.com if you need help in advocating for From Sounds to Spelling at your school. All right, so those are my 3 strategies. I hope that is helpful to think about. And again, you don't have to go wild getting ready for the next school year, but these 3 things were finding out where your kids ended the year, doing a little refresher, maybe a little bit of learning over the summer, free webinar in the caption for you, and making sure that you have an effective phonics program in place. That will go a long way, and it'll help you feel confident and relaxed in starting the year and knowing that you're giving your kids that effective phonics foundation, which in K2, I literally think of it as the house, or rather the foundation that the reading house is built upon. If we don't have a good phonics foundation, then everything else is going to kind of fall apart. So that's all I'll say about that for now. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the free links. I hope this was helpful. Hit the like button, subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.